Hey guys, it's Andre here again, and we have been working on this dress. I'm going to show it to you right now. Okay, so I told you I'd be back with the sleeves. Lately I have been talking about on the blog about pattern and proportion, and how I learned a lot of my techniques for altering patterns is because I do a lot of alterations to help people get the right proportion in their clothing. And I've learned over the years that some of the key places where you can really change the overall look of a garment is through altering the sleeves. And the reason why is because a lot of times our clothing, our ready-to-wear clothing, when it comes off of the rack is, it's not the right fit. It's standardized. It's made to have you, talk for a second. It's made to have you, be able to fit a bunch of people and be able to fit a variety of sizes. So a lot of times if you really want to get a really great garment, you have to, sorry I'm saying so much, I'm nervous. You have to be able to alter it, and where a lot of people need help is with the sleeves. So this dress thing I need to do with it, I already did one of them. So when you alter a sleeve, one of the first places I have people request that the place be altered is in the seam, because the reason why is when you slim that, then your arms will be closer to the body and it won't have so much fabric in between your waist and your arm. And so that'll make the garment look a lot better. Second, you need to shorten your sleeves, just like you need to shorten your hem. If your arms are shorter and the sleeve is really big, then if you're, wearing the garment, then it's going to look oversized. So what we have to do over here to finish the altering of this garment, and then otherwise it's ready to go, is finish this last sleeve. So what I did is I already took some pre-measurements. So this is how I do my measurements. When I'm fitting a person in the studio, they come in eye safety pin. The reason why we use safety pins is so that you can keep them in place. I'm not losing any pins. And the first thing I do is I measure from the edge of the cuff to the fold, and that's 3 inches. So right here, I know you're not going to be able to see this. Sometimes with Periscope you can't see as much detail as you would like. And then, like I said in my earlier scope, this is a super quick and dirty basic serged and flipped hem, or cuff. I can't even call it a cuff because it's just barely there. So basically that's about 1/2 inch I need. So I'm basically going to come down a little bit, and I'm going to try and get my tripod lined up now. This is the hard part. I'm just like trying to learn how to use an iPhone tripod and keep these in your perspective. And so you're going to measure, that gives you an extra 1/2 inch. So we're going to go 2.5 up from the bottom. So I'm going to do this first. I always cut the cuff first. And let's see if I can get a better position in here. I don't want this scope to go too long. This is a lot of work, and it is a lot of work, but it should go kind of quickly. Okay, so I'm going to measure 2.5 from the bottom, and I'm just marking. And you can't see me, sorry. Trying to do this while running the camera. Okay. I'm going to do that. And so now I've got my line, and I'm going to snip this off. Oh, it always scares me when I have to snip, because this is somebody's wonderful garment, and I pray that I did everything right, which I know I did. I wrote it all down. And I already did the other sleeve, so kind of had that going for me. Okay. All right. Now, I'll go over to my serger and I'll serge this, but let's just talk about slimming out this sleeve. So now let's get into the inside of the garment. I've already measured it, so I'm going down from the arm's eye. It begins 3 inches. That's where the slimming starts, and it tapers to 3/4 from the pin. So that means from the seam, not from once you get inside with the seam allowance. It means from the sewn edge, because I don't have her try these on backwards. Sometimes you're dealing with or inside out, sorry. sometimes you're dealing with, you know, things that have linings, and luckily this sleeve doesn't have a lining. So I'm just going to remove all of the pins because I've already written down what I need to do, and I'm going to show you that process. So hopefully I'm staying in camera. This is my first week using Periscope. I just thought it would be so cool to be able to use this to show our students alterations and things I'm working on when I'm not teaching. And it's a way that I don't have to record the entire process of everything I work on photographically. All right, so measuring 3 inches down from the arm side, I'm going to put a pin. And then what I like to do is I put a pin all the way down. I remember from last scope that I did, I talked about that I leave some of the stitches in for stabilization. I'm not going to tear this sleeve out yet. And what I'm going to do now is my measuring. So when I made my measurements, I have 3 inches down is where the alteration begins. But then 4.5 inches down from that initial point, I'm measuring, this ruler you can't really see, I'm sorry guys, but I'm measuring 4 inches. 4.5 actually, and that's where it's going to be at its widest point, which is 3/4. So I'm going to measure a 3/4 and make a mark. Okay, and it'll go 3/4 all the way down, so I'm just going to draw that in there. So that is easy to see, but it has to taper in or it's going to be an awkward alteration. It'll look like it's jodhpurs or like, you know, it's got a point sticking out. So we're going to go down. And now you can see I've got my drawn line. That's going to be my new stitch line. So I'm going to go to the machine. Hopefully we can see this whole thing. And I'm going to you can see I'm going to just follow my line. And I'm actually going to add, like, you know, a little bit more of a grade to that point where it dissolves into the new width, you could say, of 3/4. And now all I have to do is I'm going to take my pins out. Oops. Okay, see that? That's hard. Okay, it's better if I go over here. Okay, I'm going to take my pins out and I'm going to open this up. Just cut this 1/2 inch seam allowance. And now what I need to do is open this part up. That's the only seam ripping I really need to do. I need to get to that original serge point. So I'm going to split it and open it. Try not to go very far. There, that's all I need is for that point to open. And then I'm going to go to my serger. Okay. Hello, here's my serger. This is really needs to be cleaned up and serviced. I've been using it a lot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be very careful here and open this up. Hang on, I've got to care for the garment more than the scope right now just because we don't want to wreck anything. So I'm opening that up. Here, now I've got the angle. See how I'm opening that up and I'm keeping the rest of the garment. You can't see my hand. I'm keeping the rest of the garment out of the way. I'm just getting this edge reserged, okay? This is a really quick sleeve, actually. It's probably going to take me 15 minutes per side, which is pretty awesome because I don't have a lining. And then I'm going to do it again. Now usually if this had been a blog post, I would have had to stop and photograph, but Periscope is really great that I can just show you these techniques that I'm working on every day. Okay. And it is kind of hard to talk and sew at the same time, so sorry for all the ums. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to serge this part the cuff. We're going to serge the cuff. And this is a really, she's got very petite wrists. So we're going to serge just that edge, okay? All right, here we go. I'm being very careful to only go a little bit at a time and open this up and lay it down so that I don't serge any other part other than the edge of the sleeve. That's one of those things with newbies, like when you first start sewing, you learn with a serger, it cuts as it sews. Sometimes if you're not careful keeping all the fabric back here, oh man, you can cut a hole right into a garment, and we can't do that. The hard part about alterations is that although you're kind of reverse architecturing a garment, even when you're reverse architecturing, or however you want to say that, a garment, you still can't screw up. Your clients want them to be perfect. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to sew the sleeve, and I'm going to press open the armhole, or I'm going to press open the arm, the sleeve, and I'm going to cuff the bottom, just fold it up and sew it just like it was in the beginning. So thank you so much for following along, and I hope this was helpful, and I will be doing these throughout the week. And the next scope I'm going to do is a gown. If you want to see me flip out, it's scary. Gowns are scary. Bye, guys.